So with the next fight being Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili, last week I had came in here and predicted that Zhang Weili would come in here and dominate or win the fight in a competitive fashion. That did not happen. About a minute and 18 seconds into the fight, Zhang Weili was knocked out, and that
Yeah.
was that. Like she threw a few kicks and then she got caught. In my personal opinion, I believe that Zhang Weili got caught. I don't think it was because necessarily she was like bad or like, unprepared for the fight or anything like that. It wasn't really a lot of fight to really analyze anyway. She went in there, got kicked in the head. She was pretty much out. I think she got caught. I think they should run it back. That's just my opinion. And if they don't run it back, then she needs to fight like some contenders and earn her way back. Maybe not run it back because it's not like she was champion for like some very long time. You know what I mean? But at the same point in time, I don't think it's over for Zhang Weili. I think she just got caught.
I I I think that she definitely did get caught. It wasn't like a whole lot was going on in a minute's time. What I will say is, I think Rose kind of found a tendency. You could tell that they did some game planning and they were studying some of her fights. Because if you was watching the build up to the fight, Rose was saying like, "Hey, we noticed that she kind of fights similar to, you know, other fighters when it comes to standing up and then wrestling," and they were mentioning that. So if you're paying attention, it's like, okay, they're watching tape and they're watching her tendencies. So I think Rose saw something for her to land that head kick, because it didn't look like she just randomly threw the head kick and
Nope.
it just caught her. It looked like it was a well placed head kick. Shouts out to Thug Rose. She did it again. And a lot of people went crazy for that moment. It was a good moment too. What I want to say though is I think who's next for Thug Rose is fucking the winner of the Carlos Esparza and the other woman that she's fighting. I'm not familiar with the other woman she's fighting, but Carlos Esparza, if she wins, she's next. And the reason I'm saying that is she's on a win streak. Also, she also beat Rose for the belt. That's how Carlos Esparza became the champion. So if maybe Rose can get that one back and they can sell the narrative of like, oh, when Carla beat her, Rose was too young, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like that could be the fight. I mean, if you're talking about from a credibility standpoint, if you want to talk about from like marketing and selling pay-per-views, unfortunately, you would give Joanna another title shot, which I don't think she deserves it at all. But this is the UFC we're talking about. The main event, you saw a guy get a title shot when he didn't deserve it. So, but before I stop my take, the last thing I want to say is I kind of didn't like how the crowd was booing Zhang Weili because she's from China. I thought that was kind of lame. She doesn't seem like a bad person. She just seems like she wants to fight. She's not like political, like somebody we know. So she's just herself, you know what I mean? And the crowd was just viciously booing her because she's from China, and that sucks, you know what I mean? But she'll be back. I don't think her career's over, but I don't think she should get the next shot at the belt. I think she needs to win, at least a fight or two.
I agree there. Where I don't think she deserves to get for them to run it back because she got caught. I do agree there, but it was you could tell that they had a game plan. Rose team had a game plan because even the way she got caught, it was a setup to some extent based off getting hit with the leg kicks. It was a lot of leg kicks. Granted, it's only 90 seconds. The fight was only 90 seconds, but getting set up with the leg kicks and the fact that Zhang Weili, she was trying to move. You could tell she was trying to move her body out the way because she thought it was a leg kick. And then Rose just switched it up and hit her with a hit kick, flushed her, knocked her down straight, right? So, I mean, to me, it was kind of like it's like a clear cut finish to me at the end of the day. Zhang Weili, of course, she did say like she felt like the ref stopped the fight too early, which I don't necessarily agree. But I do agree with what you were saying also, Lau, where now that fight is over with, I don't think she deserves I think Zhang Weili needs to fight her way back to that spot for a championship. But I do think you said it was Esparza that you think they should have a rematch. I think that might actually be a good rematch just because if if they run it back, if they run that back, right? Okay, Rose wins the title. She fights the girl that she lost the title to, and let's say it's a competitive fight. Let's say it's a competitive fight, and let's say in the world where it's possible, Rose loses that fight, right? Now you have a great setup for a trilogy if it's a competitive fight. So because personally, I don't get me wrong, Joanna, cool, but I don't really want to see her. I really don't think she deserves to be in the fight in contention for the title at the moment. So, but it's all I can say is congratulations to Rose. Like she came out in the beginning of the fight screaming that she was the best before the fight happened. And
shouts out to Pat Barry.
Yeah,
for hyping her up.
Fiance. Yeah, he definitely great coach from the mental aspect. He was like, I've been telling you this shit for years. You're the best. And I'm like, shouts out to him.
Yeah. And because that's the type of thing you need at like, and she still dates. That's who she dates too, right?
That's her fiance, whatever.
Fiance. Yeah. So like shout outs to him just from the both perspectives of being a partner as well as a coach, because like for even as a coach at the end of the day, like you need someone like that in your corner to help mentally prepare a fighter, especially someone like Rose, who we've seen her history. Like she deals with a lot of stuff at some point in time. So, and even I think when she was champion before, she came with the excuse of like not excuse, but she said she had a lot going on in her life. And that was the reason why she ended up, and she couldn't take the pressure of it. So to come back and reclaim the title and really believe like, yo, I'm really the best in the world, because it's not easy to win the title once, let alone to come back and build and fight and claw your way back to being in contention for a championship with someone that they argued may be like one of the best fighters in the league. So
yeah.
In my opinion, though, if she were to fight Carla Esparza next, like I've bet against Thug Rose like quite a few times, like leading up to this fight, and that is not a fight I think she lose like at all. I think she's going to go in there and put hands on her for real, like similar to the way Kamaru Usman did in the main event last night. You know,